Attention is the most valuable asset you have, and what you feed your mind shapes your entire life. In the next hour, you will discover how to take complete control of your thoughts, master your mind daily, and create a life filled with clarity, confidence, and unstoppable growth. This audiobook dives deep into 10 powerful chapters that will change the way you think and act forever. You will learn to train your focus to sharpen mental clarity, control negative thoughts to protect inner peace, practice gratitude to reprogram your mind, discipline yourself to build resilience, choose empowering thoughts to shape your destiny, reflect to improve self-awareness, direct your attention to meaningful goals, replace fear with confident action, guard your mind against toxicity, and visualize success to reinforce positive thought patterns. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications for daily audiobooks like this. This video is completely ad-free, letting you focus 100% on transforming your mind. Chapter 1. Train your focus daily to strengthen mental clarity. Focus is the most valuable resource you have. Everything you achieve in life depends on your ability to control where your attention goes. If your mind is scattered, your actions will be scattered. If your mind is sharp, your life will reflect that sharpness. Mental clarity is not something that appears overnight. It is built day by day through deliberate training of your focus. Without clarity, life becomes noisy, overwhelming, and filled with distractions that drain your energy. With clarity, you move through each day with certainty, purpose, and strength. Most people live in constant distraction. They wake up and immediately check their phone. Their attention is pulled into notifications, endless scrolling, and other people's lives before they even take a moment to think about their own. Their thoughts are not their own anymore. They live on autopilot, reacting to whatever stimulus is in front of them. This is why their goals remain blurry, their emotions feel chaotic, and their energy is always low. Focus is the solution. When you train your focus, you reclaim control over your mind, and when you control your mind, you control your life. Training focus starts with awareness. Every time your attention drifts, you must catch it and bring it back. This is a daily discipline, not a one-time act. Start with the small things. When you are eating, focus only on eating. When you are speaking with someone, focus only on that conversation. When you are working, remove all distractions and dedicate yourself fully to that task. Single tasking may seem simple, but it is one of the most powerful practices to sharpen your focus and bring clarity into your daily life. Clarity comes from doing less but with greater intensity. The modern world tricks people into believing that multitasking is a sign of productivity. In reality, multitasking scatters your mind, weakens your concentration, and leaves you feeling mentally drained. The human brain is designed to focus deeply on one thing at a time. If you want clarity, stop trying to do everything at once. Train yourself to do one thing with absolute attention until it is complete. This habit alone will separate you from the majority who live in constant distraction. A practical way to begin training your focus is by setting short periods of concentrated work. Choose a task and give it your full attention for 20 minutes without interruption. No phone, no notifications, no wandering to other activities. When your mind drifts, gently bring it back. Over time, increase the length of these focus sessions. What you are building is not just productivity, it is the muscle of attention. The stronger your attention becomes, the clearer your mind feels, because your thoughts are no longer scattered in 1,000 directions. Clarity also requires you to remove the unnecessary. If your environment is filled with clutter, your mind will reflect that clutter. A messy space creates a messy mind. Train yourself to keep your surroundings clean, simple, and organized. This does not only apply to physical space, but also to digital space. Unsubscribe from emails you never read, clear your phone of apps that steal your attention, and limit the noise that enters your mind daily. Every piece of distraction you remove is space you create for focus and clarity. Another key element in training focus is mastering your mornings. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you wake up and immediately dive into distractions, your mind is already lost. Instead, dedicate the first part of your day to building clarity. Spend a few minutes in silence. Breathe deeply. Write down your priorities for the day. Decide where your energy will go before the world decides it for you. Morning clarity creates strength that lasts throughout the day. Mental clarity also requires you to guard your mind from useless information. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every piece of news or gossip adds value to your life. Train yourself to ask, does this thought or this information help me? If the answer is no, let it go immediately. Holding on to every thought is like letting strangers dump trash into your home. Choose carefully what you allow inside your mind. Protect your mental space as fiercely as you would protect your own house. Focus is also built by training your body. A restless body creates a restless mind. Daily physical exercise sharpens your concentration, increases your energy, and clears mental fog. Even a short session of movement, whether it is walking, running, or strength training, helps reset your mind and allows you to focus better afterward. Treat your body with discipline, and your mind will reward you with clarity. Neglect your body, and your focus will always feel heavy and scattered. Another practice for clarity is intentional reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to review where your focus went. Ask yourself, did I give my best attention to what truly matters, or did I waste it on distractions? This daily reflection helps you become more aware of your patterns. It allows you to correct mistakes quickly instead of repeating them unconsciously. With time, this habit strengthens your ability to direct your focus with precision, and your clarity deepens with each passing day. It is also important to connect your focus to a larger vision. Without a clear purpose, your focus will be fragile. When you know exactly why you are doing something, staying focused becomes easier. Define your long-term goals. Write them down. Break them into smaller daily actions. Every time you train your focus, remind yourself that you are not just working on a task, you are building the life you want. This connection between daily focus and long-term purpose creates unstoppable momentum. Mental clarity is not about having zero thoughts. It is about choosing the right thoughts. A scattered mind is filled with noise, but a focused mind is guided by intention. Train yourself to choose thoughts that serve you. Replace confusion with clarity, doubt with confidence, hesitation with action. This is a daily discipline, and the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you will notice your mind becoming calmer, sharper, and more powerful. Do not underestimate the effect of focus on your emotional state. When your mind is scattered, you feel stressed and anxious. When your mind is focused, you feel calm and in control. Clarity brings peace. It allows you to approach challenges with strength rather than panic. It allows you to solve problems faster because you are not distracted by irrelevant noise. It allows you to enjoy life more fully because you are present in each moment rather than lost in endless thoughts. Every day is an opportunity to train your focus. It is not something you master once and then forget. Just like the body requires daily exercise to stay strong, the mind requires daily training to stay clear. Treat each day as practice. Some days you will succeed, some days you will fall short, but what matters is the consistency. Over time, this discipline compounds, and your ability to focus becomes unshakable. The truth is that most people waste their lives in distraction. They never build the skill of focus, and as a result, they never build the life they want. But you have the power to choose differently. You can choose to master your mind. You can choose to train your focus daily. You can choose clarity over chaos, purpose over confusion, discipline over distraction. The path is simple, but not easy. It requires discipline, awareness, and commitment. It requires you to take control of your mornings, protect your attention, clean your environment, train your body, reflect daily, and align your focus with your purpose. Each of these steps is practical and within your control. The question is whether you will commit to them consistently. If you do, the reward is profound. A clear mind is a powerful mind. With clarity, you will know exactly what to do and how to do it. With focus, you will achieve more in 1 year than most achieve in 10. With discipline, you will build a life of strength, peace, and fulfillment. Train your focus daily, and your life will transform. Chapter 2. Control negative thoughts quickly to protect inner peace. Negative thoughts are like small cracks in the foundation of your mind. If you leave them unchecked, they spread, weaken your stability, and eventually take over. Everyone experiences them: doubts, fears, worries, self-criticism. But the difference between those who live with peace and those who live in turmoil is the speed at which they deal with these thoughts. Controlling negative thinking is not about denying reality or pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about refusing to let destructive thoughts sit in your mind long enough to poison your energy, your decisions, and your future. When a negative thought appears, the natural instinct is often to dwell on it. People replay painful memories, imagine worst-case scenarios, or criticize themselves endlessly. This habit only strengthens the thought. The longer you feed it, the stronger it grows. To protect your peace, you must interrupt it quickly. The key is speed. The moment you notice a negative thought, act immediately, replace it, challenge it, or redirect your attention to something useful. Do not give negativity time to plant roots. The first step is awareness. Many people allow negative thoughts to run in the background without noticing. They walk through life feeling heavy and anxious, unaware that their inner dialogue is the true source of their discomfort. Pay attention to the words you use with yourself. Notice the tone of your inner voice. Every time you catch yourself thinking something harsh or destructive, pause. That pause is powerful. It breaks the automatic cycle and gives you the chance to take control instead of being controlled. Once you recognize the thought, challenge its truth. Ask yourself, is this thought absolutely real, or is it just fear speaking? More often than not, negative thoughts are exaggerations, not facts. For example, telling yourself, "I always fail," is not the truth. It is a distorted story your mind creates when you feel low. By questioning the thought, you strip it of its power. When you expose negativity as false or exaggerated, it loses its grip on your emotions. After challenging the thought, replace it with something constructive. This does not mean pretending everything is perfect, but it does mean choosing a response that strengthens you rather than weakens you. If your mind says, "I can't handle this," replace it with, "I will handle this step by step." If your thought says, "Nothing ever works out for me," replace it with, "I am learning and improving every day." By doing this consistently, you train your brain to default to empowering thoughts instead of destructive ones. Another effective method is redirection. Sometimes the fastest way to stop a negative spiral is to shift your attention completely. Move your body, focus on a meaningful task, or engage in something productive. Action cuts through negativity better than endless rumination. For example, instead of sitting and replaying mistakes, get up and organize your space, exercise, or call someone supportive. Redirecting your energy creates space for peace to return. The longer you stay inactive, the deeper negativity grows. Protecting inner peace also requires you to be selective about what you consume. Negative thoughts often arise from negative input. Constant exposure to toxic people, destructive environments, or discouraging content feeds your mind with fuel for negativity. If your goal is peace, filter what enters your life. Spend less time with people who drain you. Reduce your exposure to media that breeds fear, and surround yourself with influences that uplift rather than weaken you. Protecting your mental environment is just as important as protecting your physical one. Daily habits play a big role in controlling negative thinking. Begin your mornings by setting a positive tone. Take a few minutes to breathe deeply, write down a few affirmations, or list 3 things you are grateful for. These simple practices create a mental shield that makes it harder for negativity to stick. During the day, whenever you catch yourself spiraling, return to these grounding habits. Gratitude and affirmations are not empty exercises. They rewire your mind over time, replacing old patterns of negativity with healthier ones. One of the strongest tools you can use is perspective. A negative thought only has power if you see it as permanent. But when you understand that thoughts are temporary, you realize they cannot control you unless you hold on to them. Just as a passing cloud does not define the sky, a passing negative thought does not define you. Train yourself to view each thought as a visitor. You decide which visitors stay and which ones leave. This perspective shift gives you freedom from being trapped by every dark idea your mind produces. Inner peace grows stronger when you practice self-compassion. Negative thoughts often attack you with harsh criticism. You're not good enough, you're behind, you always mess up. If you respond with more harshness, you strengthen the negativity. Instead, practice responding with understanding. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you care about. Replace self-punishment with self-direction. Instead of saying, "I failed again," say, "I learned something and I will improve." This small change in language can completely transform the weight of negative thoughts. Breathing techniques are another practical way to control negativity quickly. When a negative thought strikes, your body often reacts. Your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes shallow, and your muscles tense. This physical response amplifies the mental one. Slow, deep breathing calms the nervous system and signals safety to your body. A calm body helps calm the mind, making it easier to release destructive thoughts. Even 1 minute of focused breathing can interrupt a negative spiral and restore clarity. The faster you deal with negativity, the stronger your resilience becomes. Peace of mind is not the absence of problems, it is the ability to handle problems without letting them destroy your inner state. Every time you interrupt a negative thought, you prove to yourself that you are in control. Each small victory builds confidence, and confidence creates deeper peace. Over time, you become someone who does not crumble under pressure, but stays centered even when life is difficult. The greatest benefit of controlling negative thoughts is the freedom it gives you. You no longer live as a prisoner to your emotions or as a victim of your own mind. Instead, you live as the master of your thoughts. You choose how to respond. You choose which thoughts to keep. You choose peace over chaos. This freedom allows you to move forward with clarity, build stronger relationships, and pursue your goals without being weighed down by constant mental battles. Peace is not a gift that arrives by chance. It is a skill you build through practice. The mind is like a garden. If you do not remove the weeds quickly, they will take over. Negative thoughts are the weeds, and your discipline is the gardener. Train yourself daily. Catch the weeds early. Replace them with stronger, healthier growth. Over time, your mental garden becomes a place of calm, strength, and resilience. You will never stop negative thoughts from appearing, but you can stop them from staying. That is the power you hold. Do not give negativity more attention than it deserves. Interrupt it quickly. Replace it wisely. Protect your peace fiercely. The more you practice this discipline, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, peace is not something you chase. It is the state you live in every day. Chapter 3. Practice gratitude daily to reprogram your mental state. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful practices you can bring into your life. It has the ability to shift your mind from scarcity to abundance, from stress to calm, from frustration to strength. When you choose gratitude, you reprogram how your mind interprets the world around you. Instead of focusing only on what is missing, gratitude trains you to notice what is already present and valuable. This daily shift transforms the way you feel, the way you think, and the way you act. Many people spend their lives chasing happiness in external achievements, believing peace will come only when they get more money, better relationships, or new opportunities. But the truth is that happiness built on conditions will always be unstable. Gratitude gives you stability because it is not dependent on external outcomes. It is a choice you make every day regardless of circumstances. When you practice gratitude, you anchor yourself in the present, and that present moment becomes enough. The mind naturally gravitates toward problems, disappointments, and struggles. If left untrained, it will always highlight what is lacking. This is why so many people feel dissatisfied even when they have much to appreciate. Gratitude is the discipline that corrects this imbalance. Each time you deliberately acknowledge what is good in your life, you strengthen a mental pattern that supports peace and contentment. Over time, this rewiring creates a natural tendency to see life from a more empowering perspective. To truly reprogram your mental state, gratitude must be practiced daily. It cannot be an occasional exercise. It has to become part of your routine, just like eating or sleeping. One practical way is to start and end each day with a short gratitude reflection. In the morning, before diving into tasks, take a few minutes to list 3 things you value in your life. At night, reflect on the day and recall moments, big or small, that brought you joy or taught you something important. This simple repetition creates powerful change in how your brain processes experiences. Gratitude does not only apply to major achievements. In fact, the most impactful form comes from recognizing small, often overlooked details. The ability to breathe freely, to wake up to a new day, to have access to food, water, and shelter. These are things many people forget to acknowledge, yet they are foundations of life. When you train your mind to see these gifts clearly, you stop taking them for granted, and your mental state shifts from entitlement to appreciation. Reprogramming your mind with gratitude also changes how you respond to challenges. Difficulties are unavoidable, but gratitude teaches you to see growth opportunities even in hardship. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" you can ask, "What is this teaching me?" This small adjustment reduces resistance and helps you remain calm under pressure. Gratitude does not erase challenges, but it gives you the perspective to handle them without being consumed by negativity. Another effective practice is expressing gratitude to others. Acknowledging people for their efforts not only strengthens relationships, but also deepens your own sense of connection. A simple message, a sincere thank you, or a few words of appreciation can lift both your spirit and theirs. Gratitude is contagious. The more you express it, the more it multiplies around you. Surrounding yourself with this atmosphere of appreciation protects your mind from falling into patterns of resentment or bitterness. Your environment also influences how gratitude shapes your mind. Keeping a gratitude journal is one of the most effective ways to maintain consistency. Writing down what you are grateful for forces your mind to slow down and focus on specifics. Over time, you will notice patterns, recurring people, experiences, or aspects of life that bring you value. This awareness strengthens your identity as someone who lives in appreciation rather than dissatisfaction. The journal becomes proof of abundance that you can return to whenever negativity tries to dominate. Gratitude also impacts physical and emotional well-being. Studies consistently show that people who practice gratitude daily experience less stress, better sleep, stronger immune systems, and higher levels of optimism. This is not coincidence. When your mental state is focused on appreciation, your body responds with balance. Your nervous system relaxes, your emotions stabilize, and your resilience grows. This connection between gratitude and health is one of the strongest arguments for making it a daily practice. Another practical technique is to use gratitude as an interruption when your mind begins to spiral into negativity. The moment you catch yourself complaining or worrying excessively, stop and list 3 things you are thankful for in that exact moment. This sudden shift disrupts the cycle of destructive thinking and brings your attention back to stability. The faster you apply this habit, the less power negativity has over your state of mind. Reprogramming your thoughts with gratitude also builds humility. It reminds you that not everything in life is earned by your efforts alone. Opportunities, support from others, and simple blessings like health are gifts that deserve acknowledgement. This humility keeps your ego in check and prevents arrogance, which often leads to discontent. A grateful mind understands that success is built not only on hard work, but also on the contributions and support of many factors beyond your control. Gratitude also makes you more patient. When you focus only on what is missing, you feel restless, constantly rushing to the next milestone. But when you practice gratitude, you slow down and appreciate the journey itself. This patience reduces stress and allows you to move through life with steadiness rather than desperation. In the low run, this mental calmness makes you more effective and consistent in pursuing your goals. Even in the face of failure, gratitude can reframe your perspective. Instead of dwelling on mistakes, you can appreciate the lessons they brought. Instead of resenting setbacks, you can value the strength they built in you. This approach does not minimize difficulty, it transforms it into fuel for growth. When you adopt this mindset, failure no longer feels like the end, but rather another step in building resilience. The practice of gratitude also nurtures a sense of fulfillment that material possessions cannot provide. Many people chase wealth and recognition endlessly, yet remain unsatisfied because they never pause to appreciate what they already have. Gratitude closes that gap. It allows you to enjoy life as it is while still striving for improvement. This balance between contentment and ambition creates true mental stability. The most important thing to understand is that gratitude is a choice. It is not something that happens automatically. It must be chosen deliberately each day. You may not control every event in your life, but you do control your response to those events. Choosing gratitude means deciding to focus on what is valuable rather than what is missing. This choice, repeated daily, creates a powerful foundation of peace and strength. With consistent practice, gratitude becomes your default state. Instead of searching for reasons to complain, your mind naturally seeks reasons to appreciate. This shift is the essence of reprogramming. You are no longer ruled by old patterns of dissatisfaction, but guided by new patterns of appreciation. The longer you practice, the more effortless it becomes, and the more peaceful your life feels. Gratitude may seem simple, but simplicity does not mean weakness. Its power lies in repetition and consistency. Practicing gratitude daily is not about ignoring reality. It is about training your mind to see reality more fully, both the challenges and the gifts. This balanced perspective creates mental strength, emotional stability, and lasting peace. The choice is always in your hands. Each day you can either feed your mind with thoughts of scarcity or strengthen it with thoughts of appreciation. One path leads to constant dissatisfaction, the other to peace and resilience. Practicing gratitude daily ensures that your mind becomes a source of strength rather than a source of struggle. When gratitude becomes your habit, your life begins to transform from the inside out. Chapter 4. Discipline your mind daily to build unstoppable resilience. Discipline is the foundation of every strong mind. Without it, thoughts wander aimlessly, emotions take over, and life becomes a constant cycle of reacting instead of leading. To build unstoppable resilience, you must first understand that discipline of the mind is not something you practice occasionally. It is something you commit to every single day. Your thoughts are like soldiers, and without order, they scatter in chaos. When you train them, when you discipline them, they march in unison, directed toward a mission. That mission is your growth, your strength, and your unshakable focus in the face of challenges. Most people live as prisoners of impulse. They act on their moods, their fears, their cravings, and they wonder why they feel weak. But resilience cannot exist where discipline is absent. Imagine your mind as a muscle. If you allow it to stay soft, it will never carry weight. To develop resilience, you must push it daily, even when you don't feel like it. That's where discipline enters. It's the act of saying, I choose the harder road now, so I can walk the easier road later. Each time you reject weakness, your mind strengthens. Each time you choose control over chaos, you carve another layer of resilience into your being. Discipline of the mind means catching yourself in the moment when excuses whisper in your ear. It means not allowing negative self-talk to dominate your inner world. It means refusing to give energy to distractions that rob you of clarity. When you wake up and don't feel like moving forward, discipline silences the noise and commands you to act. Discipline tells you to do the work, even when comfort calls. That habit of obeying your higher purpose instead of your temporary feelings is what creates mental power that nothing can break. Resilience is not something you stumble upon when life gets hard. It's something you prepare for every single day through disciplined thought. People who crumble at setbacks are not weak by nature, they are simply untrained. They've allowed their minds to be ruled by ease and comfort, so when storms come, they are unprepared. Discipline is the training ground where resilience is forged. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting. It's repetition, consistency, and the refusal to break under pressure. But over time, it transforms you into a fortress that no challenge can shake. Think about every great achiever in history. Their success was never about luck. It was about unrelenting discipline of the mind. They built habits of focus, trained themselves to resist temptations, and created strength by refusing to quit. Resilience doesn't come from books or motivational speeches. It comes from the quiet, often unseen daily commitment to disciplining the mind. The world will throw chaos at you, but a disciplined mind remains calm, measured, and focused. That is true power. One of the simplest ways to build discipline is through small, deliberate choices. Waking up at the time you said you would. Finishing the task you promised yourself. Resisting the urge to scroll endlessly on your phone. These may look insignificant, but each decision strengthens the wall of your resilience. Discipline is built in the tiny battles no one sees, and the more victories you win there, the more unshakable you become in the larger battles of life. A disciplined mind does not run from discomfort. It embraces it because it knows discomfort is the training ground of resilience. When you willingly put yourself into situations that challenge your patience, your focus, and your willpower, you grow stronger. Every moment you resist laziness, you sharpen your mind. Every time you say no to a thought that weakens you, you take back control. And every time you choose strength over ease, you train your resilience to stand tall when life tries to bend you. Without discipline, the mind becomes fragile. It overthinks. It breaks under criticism. It avoids challenges. But with discipline, you develop a kind of inner armor. Insults don't shake you. Setbacks don't stop you. Failure doesn't destroy you. Instead, you respond with calmness, clarity, and persistence. That is what makes you unstoppable. Not because you never face difficulty, but because your mind refuses to be broken by it. Resilience is not about being emotionless or pretending nothing hurts. It's about feeling the pressure and still choosing to remain in control. And that ability is born only from discipline. Train your mind daily to stay focused on what matters. Train it to silence distractions. Train it to act even when tired. Train it to remain calm when anger rises. Discipline is the daily sharpening of your thoughts, so that when life strikes, your mind is already prepared to resist and recover. You must understand that the world is filled with chaos designed to weaken your mind. Advertising tells you to seek instant gratification. Social media pushes you toward comparison and envy. Fear tries to paralyze you, while doubt whispers that you're not good enough. Without discipline, all of these voices win. But when you build a disciplined mind, you filter out the noise. You recognize what deserves your energy and what doesn't. You train yourself to control thoughts instead of being controlled by them. That is how you gain mastery over life. Resilience doesn't just protect you from setbacks. It gives you freedom, because when you know you cannot be broken, you stop fearing failure. You stop avoiding risks. You stop hesitating. A disciplined and resilient mind allows you to act boldly, knowing that no matter what comes, you will endure. That freedom is rare, but it belongs to those who commit daily to training their minds. Every day is an opportunity to discipline your mind. It doesn't require special circumstances. It requires choice. You choose whether to give in to weakness or to rise with strength. You choose whether to waste time on distractions or invest in growth. You choose whether to complain or to adapt. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. Even when you slip, you get back up and recommit. That relentless practice over and over builds a mind that cannot be shaken. The truth is simple. The undisciplined mind breaks easily, but the disciplined mind endures everything. If you want unstoppable resilience, you cannot wait for it to appear in times of hardship. You must create it, daily, through disciplined thought and deliberate action. The stronger your discipline, the deeper your resilience, and the deeper your resilience, the more unstoppable your life becomes. Chapter 5. Choose empowering thoughts daily to shape your destiny. Every single day, your mind gives you a choice. You can either dwell on the thoughts that drain your energy, fill you with doubt, and lock you into mediocrity, or you can choose thoughts that build you, push you forward, and shape the kind of life you actually want. The difference between people who stay stuck and those who rise is not luck, not talent, not circumstance. It's the thoughts they choose to repeat to themselves every single day. Because thoughts are not harmless, they are seeds, and whichever ones you feed will grow into the reality you live. When you wake up, your mind is a blank canvas waiting for color. If you immediately reach for negativity, fear, and limitation, you paint a picture of weakness that follows you all day. But if you deliberately plant empowering thoughts, beliefs of strength, confidence, growth, and possibility, you paint a picture of victory before the day even begins. That picture becomes your direction. It becomes the map you follow, and over time it becomes your destiny. The truth most people ignore is that their lives are nothing more than a reflection of the thoughts they tolerate. You cannot think small and live big. You cannot think weak and live strong. Every action you take is born from a thought first. If the thought is poisoned, the action is powerless. But if the thought is empowering, the action becomes unstoppable. The future you want is not out there waiting. It's being built moment by the thoughts you choose to hold on to. Choosing empowering thoughts daily is not about ignoring reality or pretending problems don't exist. It's about deciding what kind of energy you will feed your mind with, even in the face of difficulty. Life will hand you challenges, setbacks, and disappointments, but you decide whether your thoughts about them will weaken you or strengthen you. You can think, "This setback proves I'm not capable," or you can think, "This setback is sharpening me for the next level." The same event, the same challenge, but completely different destinies because of the thoughts chosen in response. Empowering thoughts are the fuel of resilience, confidence, and achievement. When you say to yourself, "I am capable of overcoming this," your body responds, your energy shifts. Your actions align with that belief. On the other hand, when you say, "I can't do this," your body slows, your energy drains, and you sabotage your own efforts before they begin. The world reflects what your mind believes, and if your thoughts are weak, your results will be weak. But when your thoughts are strong, your results will mirror that strength. This is why it's critical to guard your mind daily. Negative inputs, whether from media, toxic people, or even your own unchecked self-talk, will infect your thinking if you allow them. But just as you wouldn't eat spoiled food, you must refuse to digest spoiled thoughts. Instead, feed yourself with empowering beliefs. Remind yourself that progress is possible, that strength can be built, that failure is not final, that every day is another chance to move forward. These thoughts are not cliches, they are weapons, and if you sharpen them daily, they become the tools you use to carve out your destiny. The mind is naturally drawn toward comfort, fear, and doubt. It's a survival mechanism. But destiny is not written by survival. Destiny is written by growth, by expansion, by stepping into challenges with empowering thoughts. If you allow your mind to default to negativity, your future shrinks. But when you deliberately train your mind to focus on empowerment, you expand your possibilities. You start seeing opportunities where others see walls. You start pushing where others quit. You start rising where others fall. Think about it this way. Every thought is a vote for the person you are becoming. When you choose a thought of strength, you cast a vote for resilience. When you choose a thought of confidence, you cast a vote for courage. When you choose a thought of gratitude, you cast a vote for joy. And when you repeat those votes daily, your identity shifts. Eventually, you stop just thinking empowering thoughts. You start living as the empowered version of yourself. That is how destiny is shaped. One thought at a time, repeated until it becomes who you are. Most people live as if their thoughts are beyond their control. But that's not true. You cannot stop thoughts from appearing, but you can absolutely choose which ones you focus on and which ones you discard. It's like standing in a crowded room with voices all around you. You can't silence the room, but you can decide which voice you listen to. Empowering thoughts are always available, but you must choose them deliberately. That choice, repeated day after day, is what separates lives of mediocrity from lives of greatness. When you look at someone who radiates strength, confidence, and peace, you are seeing the result of a mind that has been disciplined to focus on empowering thoughts. They did not wake up one day magically resilient. They trained themselves to reject thoughts of weakness and replace them with thoughts of power. Over time, that practice built a destiny that others admire, and the same choice is available to you, right now, in this moment, and every day that follows. Your destiny is not in the hands of fate, luck, or chance. It is in your hands, through the thoughts you choose daily. Choose weakness, and you will live weak. Choose fear, and you will live afraid. Choose doubt, and you will live small. But choose strength, and you will grow stronger. Choose belief, and you will accomplish more. Choose gratitude, and you will live fuller. Choose empowerment, and your destiny will be one of victory, growth, and fulfillment. The question you must ask yourself is simple. What thoughts am I choosing today? Are they building me, or are they breaking me? Because whether you notice it or not, those thoughts are writing the story of your future. Choose wisely. Chapter 6. Reflect on actions daily to improve self-awareness. Every single day you take countless actions, and most of the time you move through them without stopping to truly examine what they mean or how they shape you. Life moves quickly, and it is easy to fall into the rhythm of doing without thinking. But the difference between those who drift aimlessly and those who grow into powerful, self-aware individuals is the practice of reflection. Self-awareness is not something you stumble upon. It is built by deliberately reviewing your choices, your words, and your behaviors so you can see yourself clearly and make adjustments that align with who you want to become. Reflection is the bridge between experience and wisdom. You live through challenges, successes, mistakes, and moments of growth, but unless you stop to evaluate what those experiences are teaching you, they remain just events. When you commit to reflecting daily, you begin to connect the dots. You recognize patterns in your behavior. You notice where you repeat old mistakes. You identify the triggers that push you toward unhelpful reactions. You discover strengths you didn't realize you had. That clarity allows you to act with more purpose and less regret. The power of reflecting on your actions each day lies in its ability to reveal truths you might otherwise avoid. Many people fear self-examination because it forces them to confront where they fall short. But the truth is, ignoring those areas does not make them disappear. It only keeps you stuck. Facing them honestly, on the other hand, gives you the chance to change. Self-awareness does not weaken you. It equips you with the knowledge you need to move forward stronger. Think about the difference between living on autopilot and living with intention. Without reflection, you repeat the same cycles unconsciously. You speak without thinking, you react out of habit, and you let impulses drive your decisions. With reflection, you begin to pause and ask, why did I act that way? Did that serve me? Did it reflect my values? Those questions create awareness. That awareness leads to growth, and growth leads to mastery. Reflecting on your actions daily does not require hours of your time. It requires honesty and consistency. At the end of each day, you can ask yourself a few simple but powerful questions. What did I do well today? Where did I fall short? How did I treat others? How did I treat myself? Did my actions bring me closer to the life I want, or further away? These questions may seem small, but they open the door to immense insight. Over time, you will begin to notice trends in your answers, and those trends will reveal the areas you must improve. The practice of daily reflection also strengthens accountability. It is easy to blame circumstances or other people for your results, but when you look at your actions closely, you begin to see your role in the outcomes of your life. This is not about guilt or shame, it is about ownership. You cannot control every event that happens to you, but you can control how you act, how you respond, and what you do next. Reflection reminds you that your choices matter and that responsibility gives you power. Self-awareness, born from reflection, also sharpens decision-making. When you are aware of your patterns, strengths and weaknesses, you make choices with more clarity. You recognize when your emotions are clouding your judgment. You notice when fear is driving you away from opportunity. You understand when pride is pushing you toward unnecessary conflict. Instead of being a prisoner of your impulses, you become a master of your mind. That mastery allows you to act with discipline and purpose, rather than regret. One of the most important aspects of reflecting daily is the way it prevents stagnation. Many people wake up years later realizing they have been repeating the same mistakes, stuck in the same frustrations, and settling for less than they deserve. That happens because they never stopped to examine their actions and adjust their path. Reflection ensures that each day is not wasted. Even if you make mistakes, you transform them into lessons. Even if you face setbacks, you extract wisdom from them. Nothing is lost, because every action becomes an opportunity for growth. Daily reflection also deepens your connection with yourself. In the rush of modern life, it is easy to lose touch with your inner voice. You get caught up in distractions, obligations, and noise from the outside world. Reflection creates space for silence, for listening, for understanding your true desires and values. When you take time each day to reflect, you build a stronger relationship with yourself. That self-connection is the foundation of confidence, clarity, and authenticity. It is important to recognize that reflection is not just about noticing where you fell short. It is also about acknowledging your progress. Many people are quick to criticize themselves, but slow to recognize their growth. When you reflect daily, you give yourself credit for the wins, no matter how small. You remind yourself that you are evolving, that your efforts are not wasted, and that you are capable of becoming better each day. This balance between humility and encouragement is what keeps you moving forward with strength. In practical terms, reflecting on your actions daily can take many forms. Some people prefer writing in a journal, where they can pour out their thoughts and review them later to see their growth. Others prefer quiet meditation, simply sitting in stillness and replaying the day in their mind. Some use voice notes to speak their reflections out loud. The method does not matter as much as the intention. The key is to be consistent, to do it daily, and to approach it with honesty. Over time, this practice rewires your mind. You begin to catch yourself in the moment, not just after the fact. Because you are used to reviewing your actions, you become more aware during the day itself. You notice when you are about to make a choice that does not align with your values. You pause before reacting in anger. You reconsider before procrastinating. Reflection strengthens awareness, and awareness sharpens action. Eventually, your life becomes a continuous cycle of growth. Action, reflection, adjustment, improvement. Those who rise above average do not wait for major life events to teach them lessons. They extract wisdom from every single day. That is the advantage of reflecting on your actions. Each day becomes a teacher. Each mistake becomes a stepping stone. Each success becomes a reminder of what is possible. Nothing is wasted, and everything contributes to the person you are becoming. The truth is, self-awareness is one of the greatest powers you can develop. Without it, you move blindly, repeating patterns without realizing it. With it, you move with vision, making deliberate choices that align with your goals. Reflection is how you sharpen that awareness. It is not glamorous, it is not dramatic. It is simple, consistent, and powerful. If you want to improve your life, begin with this habit. At the end of each day, review your actions. Be honest with yourself, not cruel. Look for lessons, not excuses. Recognize progress, not just flaws, and then commit to making small adjustments tomorrow. Day after day, This process compounds, and before long you will see the transformation in the way you think, the way you act, and the way you live. Your actions are the building blocks of your life, and reflection is how you ensure those blocks are placed with precision. If you take responsibility for reviewing and improving them daily, you will never be trapped by old patterns again. You will live awake, aware, and aligned with your highest potential. Self-awareness is not given. It is earned through reflection. And the more you practice it, the more unstoppable you become. Chapter 7. Direct your attention daily toward meaningful life goals. Every day you wake up with a limited amount of energy, focus, and attention. Where you direct it determines the quality of your life. Too many people waste their attention on distractions, negativity, and meaningless pursuits, then wonder why their goals feel out of reach. The truth is simple. What you give your attention to grows, and if you are not deliberate, your attention will be stolen by things that do nothing to move you forward. If you want to build a meaningful life, you must train yourself to direct your attention daily toward goals that actually matter. The difference between a fulfilled person and a frustrated one is not luck or intelligence, it is focus. Someone who knows what matters and directs their energy toward it consistently will create progress that compounds. Someone who scatters their attention on everything and anything will stay in the same place, feeling busy but never fulfilled. Attention is the most valuable currency you own, and if you spend it on trivial things, you will live with trivial results. Directing your attention toward meaningful life goals begins with clarity. You cannot focus on what you have not defined. Many people drift aimlessly because they never take the time to ask themselves what truly matters. Goals must be clear, specific, and tied to your values. If they are vague or borrowed from others, they will not ignite your discipline. Ask yourself daily, what do I want to build? Who do I want to become? And what kind of life am I aiming for? Without this clarity, your attention will default to the loudest distraction around you. With clarity, your attention has a target, and your energy has a purpose. Once you know what matters, you must actively guard your focus. Distractions are everywhere, and the world is designed to steal your attention. Social media, endless notifications, gossip, and meaningless entertainment all compete for your mind. If you do not create boundaries, these distractions will consume your attention and leave nothing left for your goals. Directing your attention daily means setting limits. It means saying no to time-wasting habits and yes to habits that feed your growth. Each day is a battlefield for your focus, and discipline is your shield. Attention also requires consistency. It is not enough to focus on your goals once in a while. The results that change your life come from daily commitment. Even small actions, if repeated consistently, create massive progress over time. A person who directs just one focused hour every day toward their goals will accomplish more in a year than someone who spends their days scattered in all directions. The mind strengthens in the direction it is trained, and daily practice builds the momentum that makes achievement inevitable. Directing attention toward meaningful goals also means filtering out what is not essential. Many people confuse being busy with being productive, but they are not the same. Busyness scatters energy, productivity directs it. Every day, ask yourself, is this action moving me closer to my goals, or is it just filling time? When you choose to focus only on what matters, you stop wasting effort on things that do not serve your vision. This creates freedom and clarity, and it ensures that your attention is always invested, not wasted. Another critical part of directing attention is aligning it with your deeper values. Goals that are not connected to what truly matters to you will not sustain your focus. You may push yourself for a while, but eventually you will burn out or lose interest. But when your goals are meaningful, when they connect with your vision of who you want to be, they naturally hold your attention. They motivate you not just because of the outcome, but because the process itself feels aligned with your life's purpose. That alignment makes discipline easier and success more rewarding. It is also important to recognize that directing your attention is a daily decision, not a one-time act. Each morning you must choose again. Each moment you must redirect yourself when you drift. Attention is like a muscle. It weakens when neglected and strengthens when trained. At first it may feel difficult to stay focused, but over time, with consistent practice, your ability to direct attention becomes natural. Eventually, distractions lose their pull, and your mind learns to stay fixed on what truly matters. One of the most powerful ways to direct attention is to create rituals that lock your focus onto your goals. For example, writing down your top priorities each morning ensures that your day begins with clarity. Reviewing your progress each night ensures that your day ends with reflection. Blocking time for deep, uninterrupted work guarantees that your most important tasks receive your best energy. These rituals transform your attention from something reactive into something intentional, and they anchor your focus on meaningful goals. Directing attention also requires patience. Meaningful goals take time, and if you expect quick results, your focus will break the moment progress feels slow. Patience allows you to stay committed, even when results are not visible yet. It reminds you that consistent attention compounds silently before it explodes visibly. Trusting the process is part of the discipline, and patience protects your attention from wandering when progress feels hidden. Every time you direct your attention to meaningful goals, you are shaping the direction of your life. Over time, this practice creates alignment between your thoughts, actions, and destiny. You stop living passively, and you start living with purpose. Instead of feeling scattered and drained, you feel centered and strong. Instead of drifting into a life you did not choose, you deliberately build one that reflects your values and vision. If you do not control your attention, someone else will. Companies, media, and even other people's agendas are all fighting for your focus. The moment you allow them to win, you give away your power. Taking back your attention and directing it daily toward meaningful goals is how you reclaim control of your life. It is how you ensure that your limited time and energy are invested in things that matter. At the end of each day, ask yourself whether your attention was directed toward your goals or stolen by distractions. If you notice you drifted, do not use it as an excuse to quit. Use it as a reason to adjust tomorrow. Self-awareness and honesty will keep you on track, and over time, you will notice your attention strengthening like a muscle. Progress will accelerate, and you will feel the difference between a distracted life and a focused one. Your future depends on where your attention goes. Every meaningful achievement begins with the decision to direct your focus toward it daily. Do not scatter your energy on distractions that leave you empty. Train your mind to choose what matters, invest your attention with discipline, and stay consistent. Day by day, you will move closer to your goals, and your life will reflect the power of your focus. Destiny is not written by chance. It is written by attention directed daily toward what is meaningful.
Chapter 8. Replace fear thoughts daily with confident action steps.
Fear is one of the most powerful forces shaping the human mind. It creeps in silently, disguising itself as logic, as caution, as being realistic. But in reality, fear is the anchor keeping you chained to the life you don't want. Every day you wake up, thoughts begin racing in your head. Some push you toward growth, some push you toward hesitation. The difference between people who create extraordinary lives and those who settle for mediocrity is simple. The first group refuses to let fear guide their decisions. They see fear, feel it, but move anyway. They replace the voice that says, "What if I fail?" with the voice that says, "What if I succeed?" Fear thrives on inaction. The longer you sit with it, the louder it becomes. That's why confident action must be a daily practice, not an occasional burst of courage. You cannot wait until you feel ready, because readiness is an illusion. Confidence doesn't appear first. It is built through motion. When you take deliberate steps, however small, your brain begins to rewire. Suddenly, what once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. What once felt impossible becomes routine. Every action taken in spite of fear weakens its grip and strengthens your control over your own destiny. Think about the times you've been afraid to speak up, to take a risk, to step into the unknown. Fear told you stories of humiliation, of rejection, of failure. But when you finally acted, what happened? Most of the time, the worst-case scenario never came true. And even if you stumbled, the world didn't end. You learned, you adapted, and you became sharper. That is the essence of replacing fear with confidence. Realizing fear is mostly smoke and shadows, and the only way to see through it is to walk directly into it. Every day, your mind presents you with crossroads. Do you listen to fear, or do you act with courage? This is not a one-time decision. It is daily, relentless, and unavoidable. Fear is always waiting for its chance to pull you back into hesitation. That's why you must train yourself to counter it immediately with action. Don't let fear finish its sentence. Don't let it plant roots in your thoughts. The moment you feel it whisper, take one small step forward. Send the message, make the call, start the workout, write the page, speak the truth. Action is the only language fear doesn't understand. Confidence is not arrogance, and it's not blind optimism. It's trust in your ability to handle whatever comes. Fear says, "What if I lose everything?" Confidence says, "If I lose, I'll rebuild. If I stumble, I'll rise again." Confidence is rooted in resilience. It grows stronger every time you face discomfort instead of running from it. This is why the people who appear fearless aren't born that way. They've simply practiced courage so many times that confidence became their default response. To master your mind, you must monitor the nature of your daily thoughts. Fear-based thinking drains energy, limits creativity, and makes opportunity invisible. Confident thinking expands vision, fuels determination, and turns obstacles into stepping stones. The choice is always available. Will you feed the fear, or will you strengthen the belief in yourself? Remember, your thoughts create momentum. A fearful thought, left unchallenged, can spiral into paralysis. A confident action taken immediately can spark a chain of victories. Imagine two versions of your day. In one version, you listen to fear. You hesitate to start the project, so it remains unfinished. You avoid the difficult conversation, so the problem grows worse. You stay in your comfort zone, so opportunities pass you by. At the end of the day, regret sits heavy in your chest. In the other version, you choose action. You take the first step on that project, gaining momentum. You speak your truth, clearing tension. You try something uncomfortable and discover new strength. At the end of the day, pride replaces regret. The only difference between these two outcomes was whether you allowed fear to dictate your choices. You must remind yourself daily, fear is natural, but submission to fear is optional. The people you admire, the leaders, the creators, the innovators, didn't build their legacies because they never felt fear. They built them because they never let fear control their actions. Fear showed up, but so did their courage. And courage always wins when exercised consistently. Make it a daily ritual to challenge one fear. It doesn't matter if it's small. Speak up in a meeting. Approach the stranger. Share your idea publicly. Try the new skill. Every time you replace hesitation with action, your nervous system records the experience. The next time, the fear will be weaker and your confidence stronger. Over months and years, these small wins accumulate into unshakable belief in yourself. That belief becomes the foundation for bolder risks and bigger achievements. You must also understand that fear loves to disguise itself as logic. It tells you, now is not the right time. It tells you, you're not ready yet. It tells you, wait until circumstances are perfect. But if you listen closely, you'll realize these are excuses, wearing the mask of reason. The truth is, there will never be a perfect time. Action creates the conditions for readiness, not the other way around. Stop waiting for courage to knock on your door. Knock first. Your life will never be defined by the fears you felt. It will be defined by the actions you took. You will not be remembered for the doubts you entertained. You will be remembered for the battles you fought, the risks you embraced, the steps you took in spite of trembling hands. Confidence is not born from theory. It is carved through the discipline of facing fear daily and proving to yourself that you are more powerful than the voice of hesitation. So, as you continue mastering your mind and thoughts, commit to this truth: fear is part of being human, but it is not your ruler. Each day gives you the chance to prove that courage sits in the driver's seat. Replace every fearful thought with a deliberate action. Replace hesitation with movement. Replace doubt with progress. Over time, you will no longer ask yourself, "What if I fail?" Instead, you will confidently declare, "What if I win?" And that shift alone has the power to transform your entire life. Chapter 9. Guard your mind daily against toxic external influences. Every single day, your mind is under attack. The world is filled with voices, opinions, and messages designed to pull you away from clarity, confidence, and purpose. Some of these influences are subtle, creeping into your consciousness without warning. Others are loud, demanding attention and shaping your thoughts before you even realize it. If you do not actively guard your mind, you will wake up one day realizing that the beliefs, fears, and anxieties controlling your life are not even yours. They were handed to you by others. Protecting your mental space is not optional. It is essential for anyone who wants to live intentionally and grow without limits. External influences can come from people, media, social networks, or even casual conversations. Each of these sources has the potential to implant toxic thoughts, doubts about your abilities, fears about your future, envy of others' success, or resentment for what you lack. The danger is that repeated exposure makes these thoughts seem true. When you internalize them, they become habits that shape your identity and behavior. That is why vigilance is required. Guarding your mind is about creating a filter for everything you allow to enter your consciousness, so that only what aligns with your growth, your values, and your purpose can take root. The first step in guarding your mind is awareness. You must recognize what constitutes a toxic influence. Not every challenge or criticism is harmful, but repeated negativity, fear-mongering, gossip, jealousy, and manipulation are. These influences are designed to distract, drain, and destabilize. When you encounter them, pause and ask yourself, does this help me grow or does this weaken me? Does this contribute to my clarity and focus, or does it pull me off course? Awareness alone is not enough, but it is the foundation of defense. You cannot protect what you do not see coming. Next, you must establish boundaries. Boundaries are not just about physical space. They are mental rules you set for what you will and will not allow in your consciousness. This could mean limiting time on social media that fills your mind with negativity. It could mean avoiding conversations that spiral into blame or gossip. It could mean distancing yourself from people who constantly drain your energy or instill fear. Boundaries create a protective barrier, and daily enforcement of those boundaries trains your mind to resist intrusion. Over time, your mental space becomes stronger and more resilient, and toxic voices lose their power over you. Guarding your mind also requires deliberate choice of information. You are bombarded every day with content designed to grab attention, provoke emotion, or trigger insecurity. The world thrives on distraction, and if you let it dictate your mental diet, your thoughts will be consumed by fear, comparison, and doubt. Instead, choose what you feed your mind. Read books that expand your understanding, listen to voices that inspire, and consume material that educates and empowers. The quality of your input determines the quality of your thinking, and the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your life. Another critical aspect is self-reflection. Toxic influences often sneak in unnoticed, but when you examine your daily thoughts, you begin to see patterns. Are you reacting with unnecessary fear or anger to events outside your control? Are you allowing comparisons with others to dictate your self-worth? Are doubts about your abilities creeping in from external comments or media? Reflection reveals what you are absorbing, and once you see it, you can act to remove it. Daily reflection is the lens that keeps your mind clear and untangled from external chaos. Guarding your mind also means choosing the people you allow close to your inner world. The company you keep has an outsized effect on your thoughts, beliefs, and energy. Surround yourself with individuals who lift you, challenge you to grow, and support your vision. Distance yourself from those who sow doubt, criticize without purpose, or create drama. Relationships are either fuel or drain for your mind, and protecting your mental space means aligning your social environment with your goals. Daily practice is essential. You cannot guard your mind once and expect it to remain untouched. Toxic influences are relentless. Every day they appear in different forms, testing your boundaries and your awareness. This is why mental discipline is crucial. Like any muscle, the mind strengthens with consistent exercise. Evaluate your inputs, set boundaries, choose positive influences, and reflect each day. These habits accumulate into a mindset that is impervious to distraction and negativity, capable of focusing entirely on what matters. Guarding your mind also requires courage. You will face criticism, skepticism, and even opposition when you detach from toxic influences. People may resist your change because it exposes their own insecurities. Standing firm requires belief in your purpose and confidence in your path. Courage allows you to maintain mental sovereignty even when the world pushes back. It allows you to prioritize your growth over pleasing everyone, understanding that your mental clarity is non-negotiable. The long-term rewards of guarding your mind daily are immense. When you control what enters your consciousness, your thoughts become sharper, your focus stronger, and your resilience unshakable. You are no longer easily swayed by fear, doubt, or distraction. You act deliberately, choose wisely, and respond rather than react. Your goals become clearer, your vision sharper, and your energy fully available for creation rather than defense. Mental sovereignty transforms not just your thinking, but your entire life. It is important to remember that guarding your mind is an ongoing commitment. There will always be new challenges, new sources of toxicity, and new pressures to compromise. What matters is the consistency of your practice. Each day, consciously assess what you are absorbing, choose what aligns with your growth, and reject what weakens you. Over time, this daily vigilance becomes instinct. Protecting your mind becomes second nature, and the power to shape your thoughts and your life becomes undeniable. Those who master their minds are not immune to external influence. They simply refuse to allow it control. They build walls of awareness, boundaries, and selective focus that keep negativity at bay. They prioritize information, relationships, and inputs that feed their growth. They reflect daily and act with discipline. That is how they achieve clarity in chaos, focus in distraction, and strength in an unstable world. You must understand that every day is an opportunity to strengthen your mental fortress. If you allow toxic influences to creep in, even subtly, they will erode your clarity, confidence, and progress. But if you commit to awareness, boundaries, selective intake, reflection, and courage, you will maintain a mind that is clear, empowered, and resilient. Guarding your mind daily is not just a habit, it is a lifestyle that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The moment you accept full responsibility for what you allow into your thoughts, you reclaim control. Your focus becomes unbreakable. Your energy becomes intentional. Your growth becomes unstoppable. Toxic influences lose power not because the world changes, but because your mind refuses to let them. By choosing every day to protect your mental space, you ensure that your thoughts serve your goals, your values, and your highest potential. This practice is the key to clarity, freedom, and personal mastery. Chapter 10. Visualize success daily to reinforce positive thought patterns. Your mind is one of the most powerful tools you have, and what you feed it daily shapes the reality you experience. Thoughts are not random. They create momentum that either pulls you forward toward success or holds you back in doubt. One of the most effective ways to harness this power is through visualization. By visualizing success every single day, you program your mind to focus on outcomes, create positive thought patterns, and build the mental framework necessary to achieve your goals. Visualization is not wishful thinking. It is deliberate training of the mind, reinforcing confidence, clarity, and determination. When you visualize, you are rehearsing success before it happens. Your mind cannot easily distinguish between an experience vividly imagined and one that occurs in reality. By mentally walking through the steps of achievement, imagining yourself overcoming obstacles, and feeling the emotions of accomplishment, you strengthen neural pathways that prepare you for real-life action. This daily practice makes challenges seem more manageable because your mind has already seen the solution. Visualization acts as a blueprint for your behavior, guiding your decisions and reactions with subtle precision. To begin visualizing effectively, it is essential to create clarity about what success means to you. General wishes like, "I want to be successful," are too vague to influence your thought patterns significantly. Define your vision with precision. Know the specific goals, the milestones, the skills, and the results you are aiming for. When you visualize, picture yourself achieving each aspect of that vision in as much detail as possible. See yourself completing projects, speaking confidently, achieving recognition, or handling challenges with composure. Include sights, sounds, and emotions. The more vivid your mental imagery, the more powerful the effect on your mind. Consistency is the secret to making visualization work. Doing it once or sporadically provides temporary inspiration, but rarely creates lasting change. Dedicate time daily to this practice. It can be just a few minutes in the morning or before you sleep, but it must be consistent. Daily reinforcement strengthens the thought patterns that drive your habits, gradually replacing doubt, fear, and uncertainty with confidence, determination, and resilience. The brain begins to align subconscious beliefs with your envisioned outcomes, making your goals feel not only possible but inevitable. Visualization also strengthens focus. When you take the time to mentally rehearse success, you signal to your mind what is important. Your attention naturally gravitates toward opportunities and actions that support your vision. Distractions lose their appeal because your mental energy is directed intentionally toward achievement. Over time, your ability to maintain focus, prioritize actions, and resist distractions improves dramatically. Your daily choices start reflecting the person you are imagining yourself to be, creating a direct link between thought and reality. Positive emotions are integral to visualization. Success is not just about achieving external milestones, it is about the feelings that accompany them. When visualizing, immerse yourself in the emotions of triumph, pride, and satisfaction. Let your mind feel the relief of solving problems, the excitement of progress, and the joy of accomplishment. Emotions act as a catalyst for belief. When your brain associates positive feelings with your envisioned outcomes, motivation and confidence naturally increase. You begin to act in alignment with your vision because it already feels familiar, real, and attainable. Visualization is also a tool to overcome obstacles. When imagining success, include the challenges you may face and see yourself navigating them effectively. Picture yourself staying calm under pressure, finding solutions to problems, and adapting to setbacks. By rehearsing these scenarios mentally, you reduce fear and hesitation in real situations. Your mind becomes conditioned to respond with strategy, creativity, and composure rather than panic or avoidance. This daily practice creates resilience, making you less likely to be derailed by uncertainty or difficulty. Your environment can enhance the power of visualization. Choose a quiet, comfortable space where you can fully concentrate. Minimize interruptions and allow yourself to immerse in the experience. Some people use tools like vision boards, journals, or audio recordings to supplement mental imagery, providing visual or auditory cues that reinforce their intentions. The goal is to create a sensory-rich environment that strengthens the neural connections associated with your desired outcomes. The more your mind engages with these images, the more your thoughts, beliefs, and actions begin to align with them. Visualization also encourages proactive behavior. When you clearly imagine success, you naturally identify the steps needed to reach it. Your mind begins solving problems ahead of time, recognizing opportunities you might otherwise miss. You anticipate challenges and prepare for them. You notice resources and strategies that support your vision. This daily mental rehearsal transforms hope into action and ambition into results. Instead of waiting for circumstances to align, you create alignment through the clarity and focus generated in your mind. Another essential component is self-belief. Visualization is not effective if accompanied by doubt or hesitation. Every day, reinforce the conviction that what you see mentally is achievable. Affirm your ability to execute, persist, and overcome. Replace thoughts of limitation with those of potential. When you commit to this belief daily, your subconscious mind internalizes it, influencing your decisions, persistence, and behavior. Confidence grows naturally because your brain already recognizes success as possible and familiar. Visualization daily also builds patience and persistence. It reminds you that meaningful success is a process. By imagining the journey, including challenges, obstacles, and incremental progress, you train yourself to embrace persistence and remain focused on long-term goals. Each day becomes an opportunity to practice the mindset of someone who is already successful, resilient, patient, and committed. This mental rehearsal strengthens your ability to endure, persevere, and thrive despite setbacks. The cumulative effect of daily visualization is extraordinary. It rewires thought patterns, strengthens confidence, enhances focus, and fuels consistent action. When combined with effort, discipline, and reflection, it transforms potential into tangible results. Your mind becomes a factory of success, producing thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that align with your vision. Every day you reinforce your desired reality, making it easier to achieve, maintain, and expand. Ultimately, daily visualization is about controlling the story you tell yourself. You are the author of your mind, and by imagining success vividly and consistently, you condition your thoughts, emotions, and actions to follow that story. Fear, doubt, and hesitation no longer dominate because your mind has rehearsed triumph repeatedly. Over time, your envisioned success becomes your lived experience. Daily visualization is the bridge between desire and achievement, between thought and reality, between the life you imagine and the life you live. Success is not accidental. It begins in the mind. By visualizing it every day, you program your thoughts to focus on what matters, reinforce positive patterns, and act with clarity and confidence. This practice, maintained consistently, ensures that your mind is aligned with your goals, your actions are deliberate, and your results reflect the power of a focused, determined, and unstoppable mental framework. Visualization daily is the final tool to complete the mastery of your mind and thoughts, making achievement not a dream but a reality you live.